Despite the many advances in the last century and a half, women around the world still face professional obstacles, domestic violence, and other barriers to their well being and success. You are welcome and good evening to everyone. Here you are tuned onto the Voice of Hope Media, and our edition tonight is Let's Give It a Voice. It's been ages. I am 𝗂𝗪𝗫 and I am your host for tonight. So I'm inviting each and every one of you tonight to join our guest speakers, Priya Brown and Stacey Hard. So we give you the voice to Women's Equality Day. For your information and for those who didn't know, the 26th of August every year is being celebrated as Women's Equality Day. I'm not too sure whether it's just celebrated in the US or it's celebrated worldwide, but this day is definitely being celebrated as Women's Equality Day, August the 26th. So women haven't done enough yet to fight for their equality, to fight for equal rights. They are still fighting and they will keep on fighting until there's some balance reached at some point. So tonight with our guest speakers, we will be discussing some issues females face, and then we will be giving some suggested solutions, and also where individuals or where women can go or where females can go to get assistance. So tonight, our guest speakers, as I have already said, are Priya Brown and Stacey Hard. So as we get into our discussion, we are going to also talk about an organization which is based here in Basingstoke in the UK, in Hampshire, the Women's Equality Party. And for your information, the president is right here tonight. And we are also going to talk more about what they do, the activities, how they support women in our community. So once more, you are tuned onto the Voice of Hope Media with 𝗂𝗪𝗫, myself, where we give a voice to issues most often regarded as taboo, often regarded as emotional or too sensitive to be talked about. And while we are giving a voice to these issues, we aim at empowering, educating, inspiring, and giving hope to those who are facing challenging or complex life issues, including special educational needs. So I'm going to pass the mic over to our guest speakers so they introduce themselves. So I'm going to start with you, Priya Brown, just a brief introduction about yourself, then we go on to Stacey. Over to you, Priya.
Oh, thank you so much, Stacey. It's lovely to be here and great to be with my amazing friend and colleague as well with the Women's Equality branch here in Basingstoke, and that's Stacey. So I'm Priya and I am a marketing consultant by day. I'm also very passionate, obviously, about women's equality and the issues around that, which really are fundamentally, as any feminist activist would say, is about having equality for everyone. So it's putting that gendered lens on things, but it's making sure that equity is there for all. So yeah, really important to me. I'm also a married mum of two little boys. They are aged 5 and 7, and they keep me very busy. We've been at the farm today, so we've had a very busy day out, but lots of fun while it's the summer holidays, of course. I also run a business support group for mums in business who are juggling work life and family life. That is a small group here based in Basingstoke again and the local area, and it is just wonderful just to be able to support so many women here locally with their businesses. And it can be from anything and everything in terms of issues that they might raise, but it's also about sharing and collaborating and facing challenges together, so we'll problem solve together as well. I am also the governor at one of the governors at the local college here at Basingstoke, which is the 𝗵𝗂, Basingstoke College of Technology, and I am a co-chair of the PTA at Fairfields Primary School, and I'm the trustee of 𝗪𝗂 𝗪𝗂, which is a South Asian arts and education charity, and they focus on traditional Odissi dance, but they also, like I say, work with schools and colleges in the local area, promoting heritage and background work like that, but also around performance and the arts. So yeah, very varied, but I love every little aspect of what I do, because it's all a little representative part of me, I suppose. So yeah, so that's me in a nutshell, which is a rather big nutshell, but there you go.
Thank you so much. And yeah, thank you. And anyone watching, if you can get in touch with Priya, if you are a mom and you run a business, so get in touch to know more. And if you live around Basingstoke. So over to you, Stacey, for your introduction, and thank you once more.
Well, thank you, 𝗍𝗍, for having us, and thank you, Priya, my sister and friend and comrade in arms. I'm going to be a really, really short introduction by comparison, but that's the danger of working with Priya, isn't it? I too am a mum of two. My boys are slightly older. I've been a stay-at-home mum since they were born, but I am an actor and presenter, singer-songwriter by trade. So very much focused on the arts as a person, and very passionate about bringing my feminism to the arts and the arts to my feminism in return. So yeah, that's me. I'm also the leader of the Basingstoke branch of the Women's Equality Party. I joined the Women's Equality Party as a founder member when the party was founded in 2015 by 𝗪𝗪𝗪, quite a well-known broadcaster, and Catherine Mayer, a journalist. And I started the Basingstoke branch, and we officially launched in 2019. And we have done exceptionally well for a small branch in a short space of time, and we hope to do a lot more moving forward. At the moment, I'm also acting in various pieces. I'm in a play next month. I am presenting at a film festival, and it's the summer holidays. I mean, the kids are here. What more and do you need? That's enough and to be going on with. Oh, my niece and nephew are here as well. I've got my nibblings in the house. There's 4 of them. Don't be surprised if you hear carnage.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much for that, Stacey. And so, what exactly is women equality, and why is it so important? I know some of the activities that have been done or been recognized on these days to be able to thank the women in our lives. So if I had to ask you, which particular woman do you really want to thank today, Stacey, who would you be thinking about?
Oh, well, that is a tricky one. I think today specifically, I would thank my sister. I would probably name a different woman every day, every minute.
Okay.
That you asked me that question, to be surrounded by of strong and tenacious and innovative in various ways. But my sister particularly has gone off to do something quite singularly brave. And I won't go into too much detail, but that's the reason my niece and nephew are here with me, is she's off fighting the good fight and putting her own self at risk to do it. So, yeah.
All right, brilliant. We say thank you to your sister for whatever she's doing and for how brave she is. Priya, what about you?
Oh my gosh, that's a very, very big question. But I immediately the person that sprang to my mind was my mum. Okay. I mean, it's so very cliche, but for me, it's particularly true. She came from Mauritius, a small island, and in the Indian Ocean, and she came as part of the NHS recruitment drive in the 70s. And she came over by herself as a 21-year-old to help out and study and train to be a nurse, and looked after a lot of people over the decades that followed, and she's just such a strong person. I thought, when I think back to her story of how she came over to a country she didn't know, left behind absolutely everything, in her world, she'd left all of that, her family and her friends and her whole life, and to start new somewhere completely, different and foreign. And she did that alone. She met my dad while she was studying in Basingstoke, actually, and they had a big relationship and faced a lot of challenges in that as itself. But she's just the epitome of strength for me, I think, because she has gone through an awful lot. The challenges and the ups and downs and trials and tribulations of marriage, and having a family of 4. She has raised us all to be fiercely independent and passionate for what we do as individuals. So I have 2 sisters and a brother, so there's the 4 of us, and she just continues to always give. She just never stops. She gives and gives and gives with her whole heart, and it's inspiring for me. So I just love my mom to bits. She drives us as well, but she is amazing.
Yeah, I think all moms drive their children not at some point, but they are still our moms at the end of the day. Thank you so much for that. Why is Women's Equality Day so important, or generally, why is women's equality so important, and why do we love it? Why do we advocate for women's equality?
Do you want to go first, Stacey?
Go on,
Stacey.
There was a little pause there because they're both being overly polite. I think women's equality is important because there are 2 main reasons that I will give, and then I'm sure Priya will give her own viewpoint on it as well. One of the main reasons is that equality is better for everyone. That includes men, that includes people who fall outside of the male-female gender binary. Equality is better for everyone. It just is. People who live in a more equal society are happier, they are wealthier, they are healthier. And at the moment, we don't have that. We do not have equality for women. We have a society that pays women less, talks about their issues less, doesn't particularly pay attention to them as themselves, but as a subset of men instead. And that's the unfortunate truth of it. And until we make women equal, all of society, men and everyone else as well, will continue to suffer for it. And the other reason is quite outside, it being better for everyone. It's just fair. It just is. It's a justice issue. Women are people, they are human beings, and they deserve the same rights and opportunities as their male counterparts. And that's just the way it should be.
That's brilliant. Priya, what about you?
Absolutely. I mean, I agree there with Stacey, of course. And I think to add to it, equality, we have the Equality Act here in the UK, and it is enshrined in our law. Yet we still know and deal with on a very recognised and everyday basis, women, marginalised people in society, disabled people, LGBTQ+, they have had, many things go against them. And what should be a protected characteristic has not been looked after, really, for everyone. And that's what we fight for. We fight for that equity amongst all of us, because we absolutely deserve to be treated as equals, to have an equal say, to have an equal share, and to have leaders that represent that. So politically, we want to see better and equal representation in our leadership at government, because when we see others, you know, we get to know, we get to like them, we get to trust them, and that's a very business sort of like way of looking at things. But that's how we as human beings operate. You know, we can identify with people that look, behave, think the same as ourselves, and sadly, and very frequently, women are marginalized on a larger scale, if you like, disproportionately, because they're still seen as the inferior sex to males. So that male dominance in the workplace or in business or in family situations means that women are often left behind. We have bigger gaps in our working careers and history, and we have less pension, we might have less financial stability, we might have healthcare issues that are very much so misunderstood. We might have, you know, thousands other issues, and that's what we campaign for then, as the Women's Equality Party, because we want to see an end to things like domestic abuse and violence against women and girls. But certainly we campaign for equal representation and equal access to the institutes that are available to us, you know, whether that's educationally, politically, healthcare wise. We shouldn't see the issues that we continue to see. And when you add the extra intersectional relationships that we might have in our daily lives, whether we are, you know, whether you base that around sexuality or race, and couple that with gender issues, it becomes even starker, some of the issues that we are faced as women. So that's why equality is so important still in this day and age. You know, a lot of people think, oh, but women's equality, you know, we've gone and won the right to vote, so why are we still complaining? Well, we've won the right to vote, but we don't have equality in everyday life. And that does have an effect. It has that ripple effect. It has a knock-on effect for our children, for our husbands, you know, partners, girlfriends, wives, whatever. It has a whole knock-on effect, and even for our friends, because we can see things happening to them that perhaps shouldn't be happening, but because it's so institutionalized in our society, that women perhaps, you know, have a career break, or they go part-time, or they try, you know, need flexible working, you know, the odds start stacking up against you, and we shouldn't really be looking at that anymore in 2021 and beyond. You know, and that's I could go into detail on that, but it's very much so an issue still. And we need to redress this balance, because it is not there. And we know that it's not there, not just as women ourselves, but because of the life experiences that many share. And that's why having that voice is really important.
Okay, that's brilliant. Thank you so much. So having the voice is really important, and just gaining the right to vote is not still enough. There are still so many issues that need to be tackled. So is women's equality just for women? Is the voice only ours, or is it a matter, or is it an issue for everyone, both men and women, children, and everyone? Is it for everybody out there? Are we the only ones to fight for our rights, for our equal rights? 𝗪𝗓?
No, absolutely not. Equality is everyone's issue. As I said, when we were talking about the previous question, you know, equality is better for everyone. So purely from a self-interested point of view, men should be fighting for women's equality for their own self-interest as well. That's before you put in, you know, any considerations of it just being the right thing to do. But certainly some of the bigger issues that women have to face, things like male violence, that's a man's issue. You know, that's a men's issue. It's the vast majority of violence in the country and the world is perpetrated by men. It's something like 98% of all violent acts are committed by men, and that's not, that fact isn't going anywhere. And until we get to the root causes of it, until we get to unpack that and deal with where that comes from, whether that is around issues of toxic masculinity or being taught that men can't show emotion in any other way than, pummeling the crap out of someone on a Saturday night outside a pub. That's a really simplistic way of putting it, but you have to give short answers at these things, otherwise we'll all be here for a week. Until we start to unpack why it is that most violence is committed by men, we won't ever be able to unpack the issue of violence against women and girls. 1 in 4 women in this country will, at some point in their life, be, sexually assaulted or raped. And that's horrifying. That's a horrifying statistic. But men are the ones doing it, sadly. For the vast majority, men are the ones doing it. And women cannot take upon themselves the responsibility of stopping that happening to them. Men need to be the ones that step up and stop it happening. So no, equality is an issue for absolutely everybody. And as Priya alluded to as well, and stated, it's gender equality very much intersects with other forms of inequality. If you start to unpack the status quo and the sort of the white male, patriarchy that has been had the majority of the wealth and power for so long, then you don't only start to benefit women, you start to benefit other marginalized communities as well. And in the Women's Equality Party, we have a Race Equality Caucus. We have a Race Equality Caucus Allies group, which is for white people who want to work on anti-racism issues and do racial justice work. We have an LGBTQI caucus, a disability caucus, and because we understand that marginalized communities all intersect with each other, and together we can unpick the status quo and start to divvy up some of the good stuff that's been being hoarded by the 1% for so long.
Okay, that's brilliant. So to tackle any issue, we really have to know the root cause of it, and also having that voice, being able to speak out on whatever issue that is. It's going to be another solution to the problem. So I just want to thank everyone who tuned in tonight, who has been watching. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. We are live on Facebook and also on our YouTube channel. I am 𝗂𝗄𝗃 𝗵𝗃, your host for tonight. And tonight, we are talking about Women's Equality Day, because the 26th of August is celebrated as Women's Equality Day. And we have Priya and 𝗪𝗂 as our guest speakers today. We are going to briefly talk about the Women's Equality Party of the Basingstoke branch. Just permit me share this poster for one of their events coming up. So that's okay. Priya or 𝗪𝗂, just tell us a little bit about your activities with the Women's Equality Party, and then 𝗪𝗂 will tell us about the activities, this fundraiser that's coming up on the 8th of September, and then we will round up, since we didn't intend to really stay long here tonight. So
there's always so much to unpack in this, and cover as well. I mean, this is the thing, gender equality, it affects absolutely everybody. And being a part of the branch here in Basingstoke, I mean, I don't think I actually realized how politicized I was in my life experience and journey until I became a mum, really. I think things had happened, and mainly it was around racism. But as I went through my work career in the sort of like early forming parts of my years, and understanding how gender plays that role, I became more and more politicized. And then as soon as I became a mum, and having maternity leave and having my children go through so they were both born premature, and we had the NICU experience of neonatal care, and it was the mental health issues around that as well. There's quite a disparity between what the men or fathers receive, or partners, as opposed to the mothers, and but also just the systems and how it all works, and then relating that into to going back into work and the perceptions or views that people might have when you become a mum and you're working and you're needing to leave work on time to pick up your child from nursery, or you've got mental health issues as a result and need extra support. Yeah, I became politicized, and that's when we moved to Basingstoke. I was in London previously, but I am Basingstoke born and raised, and we came back to Basingstoke, and I was thinking about going self-employed, so I took the plunge. But I met 𝗪cie, and hearing what she had to say around the party and its objectives, particularly around equal representation and healthcare and education and representation in politics as well, it really just struck a chord with me hugely. So I joined initially as the comms officer, being able to give my skills to her and support to her. And very quickly we've evolved into a small but mighty team, and we have several branch officers and many more volunteers and supporters and members. And we have such a growing base. But I think this is the thing, as soon as you start talking about things that really resonate with people, you can strike that chord with anybody. And that's what spurs me to go on, really, I guess, as being a member and a local activist here. And then having stood in the local elections to redress that balance in the local council here at Basingstoke and Dean, I've just been astounded that for a small party such as ourselves, we've been able to create so much noise that 16% of the local population that came out to voted for us, which is huge, a huge achievement, given that was our first time of actually campaigning, and even then having to scale back just because we were in one area and trying to do everything in COVID times, with lots of restrictions around us. So yeah, it's just exciting to be able to work with the team here, and to really grow, and campaign and lobby our council and our local government to make change happen, so that women and girls are not left out of planning consultations for new builds or new infrastructures for our growing town, that we have a female lens and a gendered lens and a voice attached to whenever we are doing consultations around healthcare, and the new hospitals that are happening here. So it's being able to impact on a local level that really just gives us so much joy to do what we do. And we wear lots of different hats within the branch, but it's just great that we can all have a shared vision of what that looks like, because we are guided by the objectives of the party, and being able to see that change happen slowly but surely, it's just exciting and it's empowering. And that's what we want women and girls to have here locally, not just nationally, but here locally, really make a difference to our lives here.
Thank you so much. And we are all looking forward to that change and putting our heads and hands together to see that change happen, especially with the healthcare sector and the Black woman. I think I saw something you shared about there's a high percentage of Black women having to die during childbirth. Why is that happening? That's a topic for another day. So we briefly go to 𝗪cie to talk a bit on this event coming up on the 8th of September. The event is organized by Women's Equality Party Basingstoke. It's a fundraiser. 𝗪cie, tell us more.
Well, it's a fundraiser, as you say, for our branch, for our Basingstoke branch of WEP. We are raising money for the 2022 local elections. We have to raise our own funds. Unlike other parties, we do not have big donors. We do not have party funds to rely upon. We do not have unions or really anything other than the kindness of whoever we can persuade to give a few pounds or even a few pence. And so we've set up this fundraiser because we believe that you should get some bang for your buck, and we like to have a good time as well. So we have an amazing slew of performers that are coming to us on the 8th of September. We have musicians, we have comedians, we have spoken word poets, we have an author coming to do a talk, a Times best-selling author coming to do a talk on her book. We have children's entertainment and children's activities. We'll have food buffet. We've got a lot going on. There's a lot going on. And most excitingly, the leader of our whole party, Mandu Reid, who is the first woman of colour in the UK to ever lead a political party, is coming to speak at our event. So to pay for September, but we're going to do it, and the tickets are very reasonably priced. You can get adult tickets for as little as £8 if you get the early bird op with us. They range in pounds. Or if you are, or you can't, for COVID reasons or for whatever reasons, family reasons, you can stream the event online. And I believe those are £3, the live stream tickets for early birds. The event will be fully accessible. It will be family friendly. We are going to have an amazing time. But most importantly, we are going to be inspired by each other and by Mandu Reid coming to visit. And we are hopefully going to raise enough money to really push forward at next year's local elections and continue to advocate for equality in Basingstoke and continue to hold our local councillors to account and to make sure that they are bringing a feminist lens to their work, because we need that lens, those eyes in the room for women's issues to be considered. Your voice has to be heard. So we hope you can join us on the 8th of September.
Wow, that's brilliant. And I want to believe too that this is also all about diversity and inclusion as well. And just to add a little bit, there's going to be traditional dance all the way from Cameroon as well. So anyone who is getting ready to be on that day, you'll be thrilled, and you'll have to learn some dance moves from the Cameroon traditional dance as well. Then you get to know all about the colorful dressing and how it originated. And we are going to use that to raise funds for the Women's Equality Party, Basingstoke. 1 or 2 seconds for our final words before we round up. So, and just want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in today. So, Priya, your final word for tonight, and then we will round up, and Stacey as well.
Oh, just to say thank you. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to work with you here and to have this platform, and to really sort of, just come along to the fundraiser, see what we're about. You know, even if you are just a little bit curious about what we do, you know, or you have an interest in this area. You know, gender equality does affect absolutely everybody, and like AC mentioned as well, this is a truly diverse and inclusive community. Our guests, the entertainers, you know, they come from all walks of life and all backgrounds, and it's just so exciting. So we are looking forward to doing so many wonderful projects. Again, you know, get in touch with us if you want to find out more, because there is some really exciting work going on around sports equality, healthcare, violence against women, and ending violence against women and girls. And we're just really excited, and we want to get more and more people on board. So you know, talk to us. we're not scary people. We don't bite, I promise.
Thank you so much for that. Stacey, your final word, then we round up.
I think Priya has said a great deal of it for me. It is all about, equality, diversity, and inclusion for us, because the more people we have in our lives who are from different spaces, different places, different backgrounds, the happier we are. We just are. The more we can come to know each other. And our work is a big part of that. That's a lot of what makes up our branch motivation. And we're really looking forward to a great event. We're looking forward to having you there, AC. I can't wait to learn some dance moves personally. Really looking forward to seeing everybody there. So if you want to buy tickets for that event, you can go to our Facebook page at WEP Basingstoke. You can email us on basingstoke@womensequality.org.uk. And get on board and challenge us by all means. We're here to answer questions. AC, thank you so much for the platform and for the evening.
You're welcome. And I'll also put the link to Eventbrite for tickets at the end of the show in the comments box. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. And thank you so much for each and every one of you sacrifice your time to watch, to listen, and also to comment. More especially, Gifty, I can see that you've commented. So thank you. So you've been watching. If you have any questions, write them here, or you can contact Stacey or Priya personally to get more information either about the Women's Equality Party or about starting a business. You can speak to Priya and also to Stacey. Or if you have a burning topic that you think it's a taboo topic or an emotional topic that you want to give a voice to, reach out to the Voice of Hope Media. We are going to host you. And again, because so many things have been happening online, we've been having lots of events virtually. If you have an event which you wish to host it online and you don't feel like being the host, contact the Voice of Hope Media. They can host your events as well, and you will just relax. You just give us the topic and you tell us what you want, and we will break it down for you and host it for you, also with guest speakers if you want. So we appreciate each and every one of you joining us tonight, and we're looking forward to seeing you again. And buy your tickets for the event for the 8th of September to raise funds for the Women's Equality Party. Most often, charitable organizations do not, they rely on funds, they rely on donations from you guys out there, and you need to support them to be able to do their work effectively. So you've been watching the Voice of Hope Media. We give a voice to Women's Equality Day. Women are not yet done fighting for their rights. And I am AC, your host, and see you again. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you.